Hey, so I wanted to doing a series of adoption and preparing for adoption. So I wanted to do one about a home study because I know I was really nervous going into it about a home study and what all it entailed. So this is kind of just like a quick little overview for that. So with our home study, because we did a private adoption in state, so that's where I'm speaking from. So, and this is in Georgia, so it may be different in other states, and it may be different if the baby's born in a different state. But so, from my experience, this is how things were. We went and because this is the person, a social worker that had been referred to us by some friends of mine that had adopted. And so when I first, contacted her, she set up an appointment for my husband and I. Everything has to be, unless it specifically says just one or the other, you want to do everything together. So we went and we met with her. They're stationed about 45 minutes away from where we live. So we drove out and we met with her at an Einstein Bagel and kind of just like an introduction, we kind of talked a little bit, told her the situation, because at this point we had already had our birth mom matched and so had some ideas of when the baby would be here. And so that, because I will tell you, home studies last for 12 months. So I know if you are going with an agency, you have to have your home study done before they'll show your profile. And in a lot of ways, it is much easier to have the home study done before because then you don't have to worry about it once the baby gets here. But it does only last 12 months. So if you go 12 months and you're not matched with a birth mom or a baby's not born, you do have to get it updated. Which if you still have an active one, it's usually only a couple $100 compared to having to get a whole new home study done. And for us, the home study cost $1,000. Well, $1,000 plus mileage for the home visit, which ended up being, I think, $41 or $44. So it was $1,041 or $1,044 was what we had to pay for the social worker's fees. So she, the first meeting, she gave us a list of, what we would have to have, answered any questions that we had about the process, and that was pretty much all in the first one. It wasn't a long visit, just kind of, get to know each other and kind of tell us what to expect with the home study. So then, and we ended up kind of putting it on hiatus when we really started questioning if she was going to do it because we didn't want to pay, part of the money and lose out on it because we did have to pay $500 at the first visit, and then at the home visit we had to pay the remainder. So we ended up, when we did get Hudson the next, because we picked him up on a Sunday, so that Monday I was messaging her and I was like, hey, we got the baby, so we're going to wait for this 10 days to be up, and then we really want to, get on it and get it done. And that was another thing, we didn't want to spend those 10 days running around doing all of that. We wanted to spend it with him in case that was the only time that we got with him. But as you know, she didn't change her mind, so that next week we were really like buckled down. We've got to get this because now this is all we're waiting on. We have to get our home study done so that they can file the petition. And so, and that's where, the downside comes if you don't already have it done, is you want to be there spending time with your baby, but you're running around. I had to go to, we both had to go to the doctor and get physicals, which, depending on your insurance, you may have a copay or it may be covered. Ours covered one physical a year, so we didn't have to pay anything out of pocket for that. You have to get fingerprints, and I would definitely check, because our attorney was not local. They were, kind of on the other side of Atlanta. So every county is different. So I would try to double check because it's just a hassle and even more money you have to pay. But with us, because we originally, for a home study, just the basic, I think it was $5 a person, fingerprints, and they just run the basic background check. So we did that for a home study, but then it turns out that to finalize the adoption, our county requires a more extensive background check. So that we had to go to the courthouse to pay for, and it was $44 and like 25 cents a person, and so I had to go pay for it, and then I had to take that form to the sheriff's department to get the fingerprints. And just a tip, I'm sure most courthouses are this way. Ours only took cash. No checks, no cards. So get cash before you go, because I went up there and then had to run to the bank and then go back up there. So it's just a much bigger hassle. Better take cash and then take cards than not take cash and then require it. So just a little side tip for you. So we had to go do that, and a lot of the paperwork I'd already filled out, once we started the process, because we had to do a financial form, go and fill out, pretty much all of your debt, how much money you make, your budget, how you cover all of your bills. We had to show utility bills to show that we did live in the house, that we said we were living in. We had to take our pets, and well, we'd already taken them for their shots, but we had to get something from the vet saying that our dogs were up to date on all of their vaccines and rabies, and rabies may have been the only one, but I know we did have to show that they had been to the vet with that year. I know if you have any children in your home, you do have to take them to the doctor and I'm sure there's some kind of form, some kind of physical that they have to get. I'm trying to think, make sure I get all the little points. Let's see, we did our utilities, the financial form, we had to get our physicals, our fingerprints, and then there was a bunch of other paperwork we had to sign, talking about, because the home study I think maybe would just cover for foster care as well, because there were things, on how you're going to punish the child and that type of thing, which was never brought up, so I think it was just kind of the basic cover everything, because I know there are a lot more rules in foster care and how you can react with a child. So, she gave us the list, and so I kind of went and checked off. We had to take we had to show our car insurance, our medical insurance, our driver's license, had to send copies, of everything in. But the lady that we had, she was great. I could text her anytime, call her. She was really good to answer any questions and to help kind of make the process go as fast and as smooth as possible. So after we had all of that submitted to her, we, well, I guess in the process of getting all of that, we went ahead and had our home visit. And she came out to our house. We had to pay the mileage, so that was a little bit extra. That was the $41 or $44 based on, from where, I guess, their office is, for her to drive out to our house. And so she came out, and I know I was panicked, and I'm sure most people are, because you don't know, this person's coming in your house, they're going to judge me, my house isn't clean enough, everything's not okay, our house isn't baby-proof, because she had told us, it doesn't need to be baby-proofed, it doesn't have to be, Fort Knox, lockdown. So, but I was nervous, for her to come, so she came, and we sat in the living room, and she asked me some questions. She asked Chase some questions, kind of just going through some of the stuff that we had filled out on the bios that we had to do. And then, because we already had Hudson, so I was feeding Hudson, so Chase kind of gave her a quick tour. She didn't look in closets. She didn't get her white glove out and check for dust. She kind of just wanted to see, make sure we had a safe living environment, that we didn't have any firearms out, because we do have guns, but we have a gun safe, so she just wanted to make sure that everything was, put where it should be, everything was safe, and that really, she didn't go in any cabinets, she didn't go in any closets, she didn't even look in our laundry room, I don't think, she may have, peeked in, but and my laundry room is a mess, because it is half laundry room, half storage, which is just craziness. I need to get in there and organize it. But so it really was not bad at all, and took maybe 20-30 minutes that she was here at our house. So I know if you go in through an agency, those can be a lot different, because we had looked into going with an agency when our adoption when it fell through. We were going to go through an agency, and the one that I had looked into, the home study was $17.50, I think, and you had to have 5 visits with a social worker. So I guess everywhere you go is different. This is just my personal experience, so don't take this for, this is how it always is. It can be different. But for us, we had the visit with her. She came for our home study, or for our home visit. And then we did go one more time to meet her, which was pretty much just a pointless visit where she said, okay, I have everything I need, this one thing left, and then you should have the report done in a week. Or, I should have the report done, given to you within a week. So that's, so I'm like, really? We just drove all the way out here for 10 minutes? But that was all, those 3 visits were the only 3 that we had with her. And then she finished everything up and she sent it to our attorney. And yeah, so that's all. I really wasn't, sometimes it feels invasive because you have to give all your financial information and you have to go to the doctor and do the screenings, and it's just a lot of information you have to give. But especially for the home visit, it wasn't nearly as bad as I had worked up in my mind that it was going to be. So don't be nervous about it. It's going to go fine. They don't check for dust bunnies, and you can stuff stuff in the closet because they didn't open the door. It wasn't about your house being clean. It was just about, making sure it was a safe environment, which obviously ours is, and most people, I'm sure it is. So you want to clean your house because you just want it to look nice, but you don't have to stress out and go crazy like I did, because it wasn't like that at all. But if you have any questions, I think I covered pretty much everything. But if you have any questions, or you'd like to maybe see the checklist of stuff that we had to turn in, I would be happy to find it and send it to anybody. So just let me know if there's any questions. Bye.